This is the second sermon in the series, Memory Verses, focus of Galatians. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. By the way, the sermon is about how your crop is coming along. A wealthy young man decided to go into farming. He looked for a farm around November. He bought a 500-acre farm. He rented more ground. Everyone was telling him he needed at least 1,000 acres to make a go of it. He visited his age extension office to get advice on crop selection and planting. He started coughing at the local grain elevator. The locals were willing to share their expertise with him. He was likely enough person. For an outsider, he was a little different, but he was earnest and sincere. At coffee, he made convinced that John Deere is the best. In his tool shed, there was nothing but John Deere grain. He bought all the equipment, tractor, plows, disc. He had sunk in $500,000, $500,000 of his own money into this operation, plus all the money he borrowed to buy the land and the brand new equipment. In spring, when his neighbors were disking their ground, he disked his ground because of the heavy rain. He had planned to replant his corn. He drilled his beans. He hired custom fertilizers to come and spray his fields. The corn was just starting to poke through. At coffee, the old-timers smiled at his excitement as the crops emerged. Though they didn't admit it, they loved to see the tender green stalks break out of the earth, reaching for the sky. After planning, the talk at coffee turned to talk about, how are your crops coming along? Discussed centered of soil temperature and moisture. The formerly wealthy young man seemed not as interested in these discussions as in discussions about planning. Then the former wealthy young man said the strangest thing. I really don't care if it rains at all. The rest of the farmers gave him a strange look. You could see the question on their faces. Then what about your crop? The formerly wealthy man answered their unasked question. I'm not interested in the crop. I just wanted to plant and see emerging plants. In fact, in a week or so, I'm going to plow it all under and let the land just sit. That would not happen. No one plants without look forward to a harvest. The question always is, how is your crop coming along? Through his word and the waters of baptism, God has planted his Spirit in you. The planting season for God was cheap. It cost him his life. God is interested in your producing fruit, the fruit of the Spirit. Galatians says, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. A mother of seventh grade boy was frazzled. Her son was feeling his oats, testing the limits at school. She tried talking with him. She tried grounding him. She tried taking away privileges. She tried everything she could think of. Yet he continued to push the limits. Exasperated, she said, Pastor, I need more patience. Which fruit of the Spirit? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control do you desire more in your life? But note that these 9 are not a gift of God. Rather, they are called the fruit of the Spirit. This is difference. Gifts are given like a beautiful voice is a gift. No amount of training would turn me into sought-after soloist of fruit groves. Growth implies time and development. Also know with 9 qualities are listed. All together are called the fruit of the Spirit, singular. Not the fruits of the Spirit, plural. Like a stop sign has 8 sides. Similar, the fruit of the Spirit has 9 aspects. You may be stronger in one and need more growth in another. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. How's your crop coming along? To grow the fruit of the Spirit, you have to remain connected. Remember Jesus' words, I am the true vine, you are the branches. For remain in me, and I will remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If a man remains in me, and I in him, he will bear fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Our spiritual life flows from Christ. Within him, we would be spiritually dead and fruitless. Jesus spoke of God's words as seed being planted. The results varied according to the soil conditions. Some seeds fell among the thorns, which grew up and choked it. Some fell on good soil and produced much crops. These plants are among the thorns survived but failed to thrive. They are the person who hears the word, but the worries of his life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke it, making it unfruitful. Those plants which produce abundant fruit fulfill their calling. Plants are to yield fruit and seeds. As a farmer does all he can do to encourage a good crop, so we tend to the growth of the fruit in the Spirit in our lives. Weed, feed, and water the crop of the fruit of the Spirit. Paul spoke of growing crop. Paul wrote, I planted the seed, Apollos watered it, and God made it grow. So neither he who plants nor he who waters is anything but only God who makes things grow. The man who plants and the man who waters have one purpose, and each will be rewarded according to his own labor. For we are God's workers. You are God's field, God's building. For no one can lay any foundation other than the one already laid, which is Jesus Christ. If any man on his foundation using gold, silver, costly stones, wood, hay, or straw, his work will be shown for what it is, because the day will bring it to light, and it will reveal with fire, and the fire will test the quality of each man's work. And what he has built survives, he will receive his reward. If it is burned up, he will suffer loss. He himself will be saved, but only as one escaping through flames. Don't you know that you yourselves are God's temple, and the God's Spirit lives in you? If there is life, there is growth. As long as the plant is alive, it is growing. So it is you to be with your spiritual life. As long as the Spirit of God lives in you, you will be growing. Slow growth or fast growth, barely alive or abundantly alive. But there will be growth. For growth is a sign of life. Growth takes time. Growth does not happen overnight. Give the fruit of Spirit time and an opportunity to grow in you. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. How is your crop coming along? Amen.